Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. I'm Maayan, and I will be your host for this webinar. Today, we have an exciting discussion lined up focusing on the Digital Operational Resilience Act, or DORA, and its implications for financial entities and their ICT suppliers. You're probably asking yourself, what should I expect to gain from this webinar? So I'll go ahead and give you a little spoiler. In a nutshell, we're going to discuss what DORA is and why it's so important, the key capability requirements, and how Faddom can help you ensure that you are compliant with DORA and any other compliance regulations. Let's go ahead and meet our speakers. Gadi Abadi.
Hi, Maayan.
Hello, Gad. Nice to have you aboard. So Gad is an expert in cybersecurity and regulatory compliance. In his previous role, Gad was the CISO of the largest insurance company in Israel. Our next speaker, Itamar Rotem.
Hi, Maayan. Glad to be here.
Glad to have you as well. Itamar is the Chief Product Officer at Faddom, and he will show us how Faddom solution can help you achieve compliance. Let's dive right in. So Itamar, what exactly will this webinar include?
First of all, thank you so much, Maayan. I assume that most of our audience here is already somewhat familiar with DORA. Therefore, we aim to make this session as practical as possible for improving preparation for January 2025, which is literally around the corner. We will present best practices and processes that do not require heavy lifting, intensive training, or breaking the bank. Using Faddom can actually change your compliance status without investing many resources. We also exclusively offer a free trial and a dedicated session with one of our product experts to anyone who comes from this video and mentions it while signing up to assess their compliance readiness. So we are very, very excited about that as well.
Thank you, Itamar. Gad, I'm back to you. Thank you again for joining us today. Let's jump right into the most fundamental question, which is what prompted the EU to create DORA in the first place?
Well, Maayan, two main reasons led to the birth of DORA. The first is the increasing sophistication of cyber attack aiming specifically financial institutes. And the second reason is the way that financial institutes are doing business. From a monolithic, very close environment, they open themselves. They are working with a lot of outsiders, organization, and that opened their cyber surface attack.
So after recognizing the significance of DORA, let's take a moment to explain what DORA is. I mean, what exactly is DORA and why is it so important?
Well, the Digital Operational Resilience Act, DORA, is a regulation introduced by the European Union to strengthen the operational resilience of the financial sectors against digital disruption. The regulation is crucial because it mandates that financial entities and their ICT supplier implement robust measures to manage and mitigate ICT risk. The regulation applies to bank, insurance company, investment firms, and pay attention to that, Maayan. It also implies on the financial institute critical third-party ICT service providers. So it's something which is very holistic that covers a lot of entities.
I understand. So it's relevant for a bunch of entities, as you mentioned.
Yes. And I want to add that there are main 4 requirements in DORA, which include comprehensive ICT risk management, timely incident reporting, operational resilient testing, and rigorous third-party risk management.
Okay, so let's take a deeper dive into each and every one of these pillars, these building blocks of DORA, and explain how Faddom can help with each and every one of them.
Well, the first building block is the ICT risk management. This is the fundamental one. And if I can say that in one sentence, is the one. You cannot protect what you don't see. The cornerstone of DORA is effective ICT risk management. This involves having comprehensive visibility into the IT environment achieved through continuous and automated asset discovery and dependency mapping. By understanding the interdependencies within your IT infrastructure, you can proactively manage risk and ensure resilience. Maayan, imagine a combat field officer who gets a mission to lead into a battle with his platoon without a map, without understanding the enemy outpost. That knowledge is the basic one.
I like that analogy, Gad. That would definitely be a disaster and help simplify the point. So, Itamar, how can Faddom help these combat officers in the field effectively focus their efforts on protecting what needs protection?
So first of all, I also agree with Gadi. This is a great analogy, and nobody can protect what they can't see. Luckily, in Faddom, we excel in seeing things. Okay, we are considered the like a discovery on steroids platform that will allow our users to map their business applications instantly. No more static documentation. Everything is happening in real time. And the way that we are doing it is very unique because we are not requiring any agents to be installed. We are not scanning the network. We are using network statistic protocols. So every asset, every data source, whether it's an on-prem or cloud that we detect, is being done in a non-intrusive way, which is very, very unique and secure way, and can even be deployed offline. So as Gadi mentioned, visibility is crucial for Dora and being compliant with Dora. So if I'll show you briefly, just so you can get a glimpse of what we can discover. If I go here in Faddom, we can see all the different data sources that we are able to map, whether it's an on-prem, VMware, Hyper-V, Nutanix, or even in the cloud. All the major cloud providers can be detected in Faddom. The unique aspect here is that we're not only detecting the servers and all of your environment, we are also able to detect the network topology, all the physical devices such as switches and routers, and also software installed on each server. This is very, very important so we can discover everything right away in Faddom. Once we detected and we discovered all of your assets within the organization, we can practically search for anything within the platform. As you can see here, I have many options to search for, whether it's servers, IP groups, subnets, application maps that we build for you, or even users within the organization. But for our example, let's just do a search for a VLAN, okay? Here I search for a VLAN, and I can see all the interdependencies between every server within this VLAN. I can see the status of each connection that is representing. For example, green, it's an active connection. As I mentioned, it's everything. The visibility is in real time, and it's crucial for Dora as well. But I can also take a high-in-the-sky view even before I'll show you the core functionalities of business applications with Faddom. We can show you all of your subnets within the network. If I go to the subnet dependencies, we have the subnet groups, and I can drill down to each of it. I can see the different VLANs. I can see other groups, and I can drill down to see the actual components, the servers of each VLAN. This is crucial. The first stage to be compliant with Dora is visibility and to discover everything in your environment.
Great explanation, Itamar. So the first pillar discussed was ICT risk management, basically that you can't protect what you can't see. Gadi, what is the second pillar of Dora?
Well, Maayan, the second building block or the second pillar is regarding incident reporting. A critical requirement of Dora is a fast incident reporting, and to fulfill the requirement, immediate understanding of the entity current weak spot is essential. In case of an incident or fear for an incident, you need a snapshot of all of your vulnerabilities for quick guidance of your incident response efforts, because the adversary, the attacker, is going to use them. You must have immediate capability for CVE detection and understanding which user has connected to which asset and what are the impact of the infected ICT section on our business application as a good starting point that will lead us to effectively deal with an incident and to an accurate and on-time report on an incident.
So I want to focus on the need for being accurate without taking away for the necessity of speed. Itamar, can Faddom support both of these needs at the same time?
Yes, of course. So we started by explaining the visibility and how important it is to improve your visibility posture within the organization, as Gadi mentioned. In terms of reporting and understanding what can be done in Faddom, because every event is crucial, right? And we have a very short window of time to try and analyze what is the damage, the actual damage in my environment. So it's very important to see it. And that's the basis. So if I'll open Faddom for you again, just to show you some things. So for example, we discussed that the core functionality in Faddom is to build those business application maps automatically. So let's just deep dive into one, okay? Here we have an ERP application. I can go and drill down on a specific server that has different connections right now. And I want to know what was the impact. Okay, so for example, each server has different properties. I can see if it's participating in other business application maps. And I would like to know, for example, if there were any changes in this application map since the attack has happened. So all I need to do is go to the compare timeline, choose the different range of dates that I would like to cover. And then I can see all the different snapshots on how the application looked like before. For example, here I see a connection that was not available at this snapshot at this time over here. And I can also drill down even further to see if there was an actual impact on this specific server. All I need to do is go to the security in the server properties, and I can go to either investigate, or I can just choose and see the actual context, if there was any spike in the traffic that is connected to the attack at a specific date. And here I can see a drop, for example. It could be a spike as well. It doesn't really matter. And I can do investigate. I can choose this timestamp versus, let's say, this timestamp. And here I can see different types of information. For example, this is only a demo environment, but I could see if there was any connection, new connections in the environment that were added or removed, any increase in traffic, what's the average, and all those connections that are currently removed or added, and if there were any traffic changes on them. In addition to that, we can also detect the north-south traffic, not only the east-west. And here we can get it from the external traffic screen, so I can see all the communications coming in and out of the organization as well. This is crucial for reporting, okay? When I would like to analyze what was happening, I have this very short window of time. I can do that as well. Everything can be exported in Faddom directly from here to CSV, image, Visio, everything you would like to do. And obviously you can be alerted. Anything regarding security aspects, anomalies, etc., can be detected in Faddom, so you can be alerted in real time.
Sounds like Faddom can really help you stay ahead of the curve and take a proactive stance when it comes to accurate and immediate incident reporting, which is essential, especially when it comes to reporting to the regulator. Gadi, let's move on to the third pillar.
Well, the third pillar regards the operational resilient testing, which means understanding the dependencies and the impacts on critical business application 24/7. Maayan, operational resilient testing is a dynamic process that involves continuous detection and visualization of dependencies and their impact on a critical business application. This capability is vital for both cloud and on-premise environment, ensuring that critical function can be maintained during disruption. It is also aid in change management and assessing business impact, which are crucial for operational resilience.
So in continuation to Gad's explanation, let's say a hacker has access to a critical server in our IT infrastructure. Itamar, how can Faddom help us understand that impact on critical business operations?
Definitely. As Faddom can detect all the traffic and we analyze the traffic over time, and we build those business applications for you, the most important thing that we focus on is to know if there was any impact on your business operations. So let's take a deeper look into it. If you can see on my screen, for example, we have this business application called ERP. If I want to drill down on a server and I want to know if it has more impact on other business application in my environment, I can just right-click here, go to impact set, and now I can see all the other business applications that were built automatically with Faddom are being colored in purple. So I know that I have some connectivity with this server on other business applications. But that's not the full story, right? Because sometimes there are other connections to this server, which we are not aware of. We have some incoming or outgoing connections to this server, and I want to know whether they are being impacted or that they are considered as suspicious ones, some connections that this server shouldn't have at all. And since this server is now encrypted by an attacker, this is even more important. So when I right-click here, I can show you all the incoming connections to this server. I can show you all the outgoing connections to this server as well. These connections are not necessarily connections that are part of this business application map. Okay, as we see here, they're marked a little bit different. And I can also drill down even further to look at it via the search. So the server will be at the center and all of the connections will appear. So I know all the dependencies of this specific server that is now being exploited or attacked. In addition to that, I think that lateral movement is something that's worth mentioning here, because if there's a connection or other dependencies for this specific server, we want to know where the attacker can go from one place to another. And by showing and having this type of visualization, that's pretty straightforward. So you know that we got your back and you know what could be the potential damage of a specific attack.
I understand that with Faddom, you can quickly get a better understanding of the potential impact when an adversary is encrypting a server, while also getting clear visibility of the possible lateral movement within business applications, which leads me to our next point, which is third-party risk monitoring. Gadi, can you please elaborate on that?
Of course, Maayan. Lastly, third-party risk monitoring is a significant focus of Dora. In several cases, when I work with entities that had cyber breach that involved one of their ICT supplier, we found out that they didn't know crucial information about the engagement with their supplier and how the supplier fully affected their business continuity. In those cases, we found out that there's a list of third-party ICT supplier, which was not accurate and only deceived and delay us. Furthermore, with the rise of a shadow IT as a major cyber and IT risk, it is crucial to have real visibility into third-party interaction based on objective evidence, and up-to-date one. This includes detecting and analyzing external traffic, ensuring secure engagement, and implementation policies for alert and traffic analysis to mitigate risk associated with external service providers.
That's a great point, Gadi. I think that one of the main things that we should all focus on is to understand our connections within our environment and the outside world with the integrators or contractors. And sometimes it's even more important when we have some things in our environment that we are not even aware that are communicating with one another and could potentially damage us a lot, especially if somebody has access to things that they shouldn't. In Faddom, it's very easy to actually see it live using the external traffic screen, because we analyze the traffic constantly in real time. Here you can see all the servers that are communicating with the outside world, whether these are incoming connections to our servers within the environment or connections that are going outside as well. And the idea behind it is that it's not only about being reactive and understanding those connections, it's also about being proactive. As we can set up different policies here about specific rules that we would like to be alerted on. And we can even set up different blacklisted countries. So any external connection from specific countries that we shouldn't have in our organization, you can be sure that we will alert you on that. You mentioned also shadow IT. So shadow IT, it's not only a buzzword, it's an actual headache for lots of organizations out there, because shadow IT could potentially be the door for a security breach within the organization. So if I go to here, I have our dashboard for the security module in Faddom. We have a very nice list of all the shadow IT assets within the organization that Faddom detected automatically. Here you can see a list of servers with little to no traffic that nobody in the organization probably aware of, okay? And those servers could be a good candidates for deprecation to eliminate them, so you can make sure that you are being complied not only with the regulation, but that you will be sure that no data breach, security breach will occur in the organization. The last point that I would like to mention, and maybe it was relevant to the earlier topic, is that it's also important not only to know the dependencies and connections between the server and the vulnerabilities within the organization. Obviously, Faddom detects that as well. We can also understand if there are any users within the organization that are communicating with specific servers, either that they shouldn't, especially if there was an attack. We want to know not only the impact of business application, we want to know the impact on specific users within the organization. So, for example, I can look for any user within Faddom just by integrating with the Active Directory. And here I can see a very nice map of Jonathan, for example, which is communicating with those specific server. If you recall, this was the attacked servers, the server that was encrypted. And here we can see that Jonathan is communicating with, and we can see all the login history of Jonathan with that server. So discovery on steroid, it's not just a slogan, it's a real thing. Knowing the dependencies, knowing the impact, understanding all the potential and the security exposure that you have to the outside world, but also knowing the impact on your actual users.
Thank you, Itamar and Gad, for these insightful takeaways. To summarize, we covered the 4 main pillars of Dora and discussed how visibility posture is absolutely crucial in order to be compliant with Dora and with any other IT compliances. We hope that this webinar provided you with valuable information regarding Dora and how to properly prepare for it. And if you're interested in learning more about Dora's requirements or about how Faddom can help you ensure that your organization is fully covered, feel free to contact us at faddom.com. That's www.faddom.com. And just the last quick reminder, whoever comes from this video and mentions it can also receive a free trial and a compliance readiness assessment session with one of our pros. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you in the next video.
Get started now with self-service. No credit card or sales call is needed.